All right, we're back and live here at AI Data Mastery. Another exciting episode. I have my business partner here at Data Accelerator, our CMO and CTO, Alvin Reyes, with us today to drop some knowledge bombs on us. Welcome to the show again, Alvin.
Hello, how you doing?
Perfect, doing great. So the title of this episode is Build Trust Throughout a Company. Impressions create influence, trust, and credibility. And the more B2B businesses that we're connecting with, helping 20 to 30x their exposure within that first 30 days, it's just amazing how much opportunity is out there for B2B businesses, but how little B2B business are taking advantage of it. And when I say that, one, most businesses, B2B businesses, operate in this little tiny sliver of their total addressable market, which we've talked about on previous episodes. But what I really want to focus on this episode is the power of impressions, and the power of not just impressions that grab a business's attention, but the power of those impressions once you have their attention. Once you've already drawn a click to their website, once your SDRs and your sales team has already started engaging with a business, it is very rare that we come across a B2B business that has anything less than a 30-day at minimum, typically more of a 3 to 6 month buy cycle. And the longer the buy cycle, the bigger the contracts, the more people are involved, the more stakeholders, the more decision makers are involved in that decision. And it is where most B2B businesses completely drop the ball, is determining those decision makers and then continuing to impress upon them as many ways as possible throughout that 3 to 6 month cycle. I mean, Coca-Cola, for example, doesn't sponsor everything under the sun, every major ballpark and every major sport. You can't go anywhere. Everybody knows who Coca-Cola is. They don't do it because they're trying to introduce their brand or sell you something. They're doing it to constantly make you reflect on that brand, reflect on that red logo, reflect on the memories you've had drinking a Coca-Cola. It's constantly turning those impressions into reflections and putting them right in the front of your brain. And that's exactly what you want to do as a B2B business, is during that 3 to 6 month buy cycle, you don't want to just rely on maybe a monthly newsletter and getting one impression a month. You want to embrace different marketing techniques, ideally programmatic marketing techniques that we leverage here a lot, to push your brand out there, push solid marketing assets that build trust and credibility and constantly impress and make those individuals, make those decision makers keep you at the top of their mind, giving you impressions, constantly reflecting back on, hey, I should have done this. Hey, I need to look at this proposal. Hey, this guy, these people are constantly in front of us, and controlling the message and controlling the narrative. If there's, let's just say, 10 decision makers involved in signing that $100,000 contract, find those 10 individuals, allow your marketing company to then reach out and push information to those individuals on a consistent basis. If you have 6 months, that's 180 days. You want 180 plus impressions during those 180 days. And I'm not talking, again, sending them an email. I'm talking about going and seeking them and finding them where they're at on in the top 500 published websites, even CTV and streaming TV platforms. And I'm going to stop talking here for a second, let Alvin jump in and kind of go into the weeds a little more in terms of, more specifically what I'm talking about and how you can accomplish this.
Yeah, so I mean, we came from the consumer market where the general saying is like you need to have about 7 to 22 touch points or 7 to 22 impressions to get a homeowner or a consumer buyer to just take an action. Well, what kind of action? An action could be a click, it could be a download, it could be a form submission, it could be booking an appointment or picking up the phone and calling in, or pulling out a credit card to purchase. So, if you're running ads anywhere, not any ad platform, and you're only showing less than 7 impressions, meaning How many times are you going to see their ads online? Again, it takes 7 to 22 impressions to just take one action. Now, in the B2B space, I think you need more than 22, especially when you have the 3-month, 6-month, or even a 12-month buy cycle. You probably need a couple hundred impressions, especially like these people, the decision makers, the C-suites, the VPs, the managers. Like, again, these people are very busy and they're likely not going to be on social media. If they are, they're only going to be there for a couple of minutes. So you're going to have a timing issue on there. However, when they do have a time to, check news or articles or something online on the open internet, we want to meet them where they're at. And I think that's where we need to kind of like drill those like couple hundred impressions throughout the 3-month, 6-month period, get that message in front of them every single time we find them.
Correct. And the biggest problem with social media is there's so many options, right? Like, I mean, there's, are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Are they on TikTok? Do, a lot of
Mhm.
B2B professionals strictly stick with LinkedIn and they don't mess with, social media unless it's on weekends, checking out getting family updates or something like that. So yes, it's about meeting them where they're at, but then also staying in front of all of the decision makers at once. So that impression. And then another thing is controlling the narrative, right? Like once that ad that got their attention and drew them to the website and got that initial engagement isn't going to be the same ad that is impressed upon them over that 180 days. Once you have their attention, now you're delivering trust and credibility type of marketing asset. So now it's snippets of, say, a Google review or something that a client just said about you and your business, building that third-party credibility. So it's somebody else talking about your business, or delivering value. Hey, during this decision-making process, here's what you need to know about our business to make the most educated decision and the best decision possible for the company that you're representing.
Right. So the way we find these decision makers, it's again, if you've ever ran ads on social media or even on Google, it's really hard to find these people with job titles. With programmatic advertising, we have a we have a lot of different options of finding these C-suites, decision makers, VPs, managers, and we're able to also use SIC codes, standard industrial codes, that have been, when you sign up for a business, you're going to get assigned a category ID. Well, we could target using those IDs that you can't do on Facebook or Google, and you just layer on company revenue. So now we're way more precise to find these individuals outside of social media, outside of Google, on the open internet. If they're hanging out on ESPN or Yahoo Finance or Yahoo Sports, this is where we'll show your ads or your brand. This is what we want to do. And it's really cost effective and it's highly precise targeting.
Correct. And highly precise targeting. And then even let's touch a little bit on, say, like account-based marketing. So, we're
Yes.
working with the B2B business. Somebody fills out a lead form, visits their site or engages with them. And now our client says, hey, this company, we're trying to engage with this company. We've started with this company. We're targeting, say they're in the IT. So they want to target everybody within the IT department. We can now go identify that company and target a specific department. So now everybody in that department is learning about us and we're impressing upon everybody, not just that one single individual.
Right. So when we have campaigns built out, we typically like to tell our clients like, hey, use AI to come up with like 10 to 15 different one-liners or hooks that talks about their offer, their product, their service. And you just want to get that message out there.
Pain
Not just
points,
like,
sorry to cut you off, but pain points
yeah,
in the industry, right?
yeah.
AI can give you all this information. So it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, let's go, what's the saying? Like, let's go poke the bear. Every single day you can sit there and kind of just poke the bear. Hey, here's a different pain point. Here's the solution. Here's the problem. Here's our solution. And constantly reinstating yourself as the trusted professional.
Right. So if we have about 10 to 15 different one-liners with your logo and a call to action, again, not everyone is going to click on the first or second impression or ad that they saw. That's why we want to sprinkle a lot of different variations of it. And again, we don't want just 22 impressions. We want to max it out to a couple hundred throughout the 3 month, 6 month period. So again, if we get one of the decision makers to click on that ad, now we got them. Well, what does that mean? Well, if they click on your ad and they make it to the landing page, well, guess what? We have a pixel on there. Now we could retarget them moving forward and follow them all over on the open internet with more impressions.
Exactly. So yeah, what you're talking about is getting their attention initially and then getting them into your pipeline where then we can further and almost expedite the impression process, right?
Mhm.
Because especially like with programmatic marketing, you can control things like frequency and things of that nature where you want somebody to assuming they're on the internet on any number of thousands of different monetized sites and mind you, I just want to reiterate, we're talking about like the top 500 published sites plus everything else wherever they're at, but we're not bearing an ad on page 47 of a blog post or something along those lines.
Right. So when you say, well, what is a top 500 publisher? What is that? Well, what that means is these are high quality websites like your ESPN, your Fox News, USA Today, CNN. So all these
high quality, high traffic, and trusted
high branded.
sites.
Yeah, so these are high branded quality sites that you are likely also visiting, and we also show your ads on local news sites as well. So as long as we come up with these one-liners, like how can I convince someone to psychologically click on my ad and then get them onto a landing page? Like I just want that one bite, and if I get that one bite, now I got you. I got that fish. Well, how can I get more fishes within that company? More decision makers, so that way I could influence other people to the decision maker. How can I get to the decision maker? There's other people on that team that'll likely see your ads, the impression.
How do we get in front of all of the decision makers
Right.
at a particular business?
Yes.
Absolutely, yes. And then
Right.
even furthermore with the retargeting ads, once we have them engaged with us, the retargeting ads are less like, hey, click here, click now, because we already
Right.
have their intention.
Right.
That's more of just delivering a messages and controlling the narrative during that buy cycle. And that's where businesses just completely fall off, right? The lead comes in, the person comes in, they start talking to the sales team, and they're like, oh, we don't have to market to them anymore. We've already got them. And it's like, you haven't got them yet until proposals and contracts are signed
Right.
and ACH transfers and money has traded hands, right? But
Yes.
until then, you almost, and that's where businesses fall off. It's like those type of individuals that are in that process, that 3 to 6 month buy cycle, you almost want to expedite and increase the frequency. I mean, if depending on the ad spend budget, you could even delve out into CTV ads where, with a portion of the programmatic ad spend, and everybody thinks you got to spend, hundreds of $1,000s a month on TV ads. But what if you just took the people that were within your 3 to 6 month buy cycle, and we went and found them on Hulu or Tubi TV or Free TV, whatever, all the other streaming TV platforms? There's like 14,000 of them now. It seems like I get a bill from all of them. But what if we could, on top of the top 500 publishers and ads, but they also see a 30-second non-skippable commercial while they're watching their favorite TV show, and a group of decision makers just met and talked about your proposal yesterday or the day before, earlier that week. And now a couple of days later or that weekend, they're seeing your bumper ads everywhere. And then they see a 30-second non-skippable commercial from a fellow decision maker at another business talking about how amazing the processes working with your business and your brand. And he highly recommends it. That is, I mean, how many B2B businesses besides the ones that are working with us, but it is very, very rare. And it is just like this hidden little secret recipe that, hopefully more and more people will watch this and be able to take advantage of it. But it's the secret sauce right now to B2B marketing that, your competitors probably don't know about and aren't doing.
Right. So we're going to have some people on here. It's like, well, how much does it really cost? Right. We're like, you talk about impressions. Well, how much is it for an impression? So if you've ever ran ads on social media, like on Facebook and Instagram for a B2B, right, that could actually be $200, $300 CPM, cost per impression. So, well, what does that mean? What's CPM? It means like Facebook is going to charge you a premium of $200 to serve your ad to 1,000 people for $200. That's what that means, $200 CPM. Some programmatic ads, it actually costs us typically about $7 to $10 per CPM. So you get more bang for your buck, and we get better targeting, and we're outside on the open internet in real time, hitting these people with ads
Yeah,
and
and
impressions.
for those of you that couldn't do the math that quick, because sometimes I can't even, but we're talking about 10 times, 20 times the
20
amount of
times, right?
impressions
Mhm.
through programmatic ads versus social media ads.
Right.
That same $10 is getting you hundreds of thousands of impressions versus tens of thousands of impressions. And then let's touch on the cost per click, right? Social
Right.
media, you're probably going to pay
30
5
bucks.
to 10, yeah, $5 to $10 just for somebody to click. With our B2B programmatic ads, I mean, we have some clients as low as, like, I saw one the other day, one of the dashboards that was like $1.30 per click. That
Yeah.
means you're getting 8 times more clicks for that same $10 than you are if you go through, social media platforms. And the best part is we control who sees the freaking ads. So if you're not a CEO, if you're not a decision maker in the right industry, working for a business with the right revenue, and all these factors don't align, you're not even seeing our ad. So now when that person clicks, it's the right person, it's a decision maker clicking your site, and you're getting that click for 10 cents on the dollar than social media.
Right. Again, so with the social media like Facebook, I keep using Facebook because, again,
It's just what everybody knows.
You're relying on Facebook's data to find these decision makers that are likely not going to be on Facebook, right? Again, it's just more of like the timing issue and the limitation of that, where the type of targeting that we have on programmatic, we have access to Zoom info, Dun and Bradstreet. Even with consumer data, with the 3 credit bureaus, if you wanted to go that deep, we don't have to pay thousands of dollars to get access to that, where all we need is the ad spend from our clients, and then who's your ICP? Tell me who your buyer is, and then I'll go look in our systems like, hey, I found these. Are we good to go? Let's go greenlight this and launch the campaigns. And then also with retargeting, like as soon as you start getting people on your landing page, again, our job is to deliver 10 to 20 times more traffic to a client's website with our programmatic campaigns, right? That's what our clients come to us for, is to improve their total addressable market, is getting more eyeballs to your brand or their brand. So our job is more focused, more top of funnel with the traffic. How can I drive more traffic, more clicks? Because again, who doesn't need more clicks, right?
Yeah. I mean, you ever seen a funnel, right? The bigger the top end of the funnel, the more output's going to come out of the bottom. It's just, I don't know if it's physics or mathematics or whatever fancy term it is, but you have this little tiny top of funnel that's 5% of your total addressable market. It's going to shrink down to a little tiny pool of clients, where if we could expand that top of funnel 10 to 20x your exposure to your addressable market, then the numbers statistically just start filtering down. So you have a much larger output, i.e., more clients engaging and working with your business.
Right. I mean, like if you're doing email, keep doing email, but I would supplement it with programmatic advertising. How do we get more clicks? Again, if you're doing email and you don't have the best of luck with getting clicks or replies on those emails, then we highly recommend you talk to us, and we'll get you more traffic. That's like the easiest part for us, is like finding your ICPs where they're at and then getting them to click to your website.
Oh no, we want our clients to do email for sure. We're huge proponents of that omni-channel presence, but that's the
Right.
problem is, somebody gets in their pipeline and we're like, oh, we'll just toss them in our newsletter and, stay in front of them once a month during that 6-month buy cycle. And it's like, well, that gives you 6 impressions. Your fingers crossed they're opening your email and then they're
Right.
actually reading it. Well, what if you took those 6 emails, but then turned them into I don't know, 100 different display ads with
Right.
short little messages throughout that 180-day cycle, and they're at the most published websites where your clients are visiting on a daily basis, and now tie that to the email, and make it all together into that one omni-channel presence. And
Mm-hmm.
heck, and we have some clients, it's they take the data and then their sales guys, because the data often contains the LinkedIn URL. So
Right.
while your sales guy, ping them on LinkedIn, send them an email, hit them where they're at on the internet, and now you have 3 separate impressions from 3 separate channels that can be done on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Now you can start getting to, 200 impressions, 300 impressions during a 180-day buy cycle. You're
Mm-hmm.
telling me that that's not going to increase the chance of you closing that deal, being at the forefront, constantly going from back of brain to front of brain, impression to reflection, over and over again throughout the, I don't want to say you put them in a trance, but I mean, let's put them in a trance and, make them so narrow-minded and focused on your business, they have to tune out the competition and don't want to talk to anybody else.
Right. So all that retargeting that we're able to do is, somebody might opt in or fill out one of your forms, and let's say they no show on your appointment. Well, that's why you keep hammering them with ads, with impressions, right? Like whether it's testimonials, something with that's trustworthy, social proof, anything like that. Just keep hammering them even after they've opted in, because that'll actually help with the show up rate, because by the time they consume all that content, well, all the messaging and everything else, but by the time they do show up, like more likely you're just talking about pricing and how to, and
Yeah.
then it's your job to close them.
Exactly. I mean, if you're taking an appointment with a client, or you're heading to a trade show, like there's so much that can be done to set the tone, solidify show rates. I mean, what if you knew who your market was? You knew that the majority of your market was all heading to the Atlanta Convention Center. I forget the exact name, or a big convention center in Vegas. You knew the industry was converging on this convention center. And now you have a booth at that convention center, run ads for the week leading up to it. And I'm talking about this because we literally just did it for a client. Run ads for a week leading up to that convention. Hey, we're going to be here. Come introduce yourself here. Don't forget to stop by our booth. Then geo-target the convention and market everybody as they go there that has their cell phones. Fast forward, we did it with a recent client, drove 5,000 clicks to their website and captured 1,500 people with the pixel bouncing off their site. Their exact target demographic, people that were at the trade show with them. Let's just say you put 5 freaking sales guy on a sales floor. What's each one of them going to talk to 100 people, collect 100 cards? That's 500 people. We delivered over 3 times that amount of individuals, identities, decision makers down to their sales team. And let's be honest, they probably really didn't have to get a booth there. We could have got those 5,000 clicks and 1,500 people, and the client really probably never even had to set foot in that trade show if they didn't want to. They could have saved I don't know how much it cost their sponsorship, but they could have saved the $5,000 to $20,000 sponsorship, travel expenses and liabilities and everything else that goes along with it. Now you can never miss a trade show in that case, right? I was just talking to a client or a potential client, and he's like, yeah, we do as many trade shows as we can in Arizona. And I was like, well, why only Arizona? You're a nationwide company. Well, it's cost prohibited. So we only go within the state of Arizona, sometimes into Nevada and neighboring states, but it's everywhere that only where their sales guys drive to. So I'm like, oh my God, you're literally limiting yourself to your market based off where your sales guy can drive to. Like, dude, there's a better way.
So here's a golden nugget. If you've been watching for 24 minutes, here's a golden nugget. So since we have geofence capability, imagine where the CEOs, let's say you know about 20 businesses that you want to target, and the CEOs are there, and you know the address of these buildings. Well, guess what? Give me those addresses. I build out a campaign for each address, and then I drop a pin on those GPS coordinates of each building. And the smallest radius is about 330 square feet, where I could put a radius around that building. Well, guess what? Anyone that enters that radius, their device, their mobile phones or their laptop, desktop are going to get identified as a target for us. So imagine I put a pin on a building, all the decision makers on there, like, okay, let's just put, $10,000 ad spend and just target all these buildings. That's a strategy right there where they're going to see your ads.
We're gonna nickname you Alvin the Digital Stalker Reyes.
Oh my God! We
But
talked
again,
about
that's what I mean for anybody still listening. 25 minutes into this,
yes,
or seeing a clip of this on social media. I mean, that's what Alvin geeks out and specializes in: is give him the smallest, the most precise target audience that you're looking, the exact title, the exact revenue, the exact industry, where they might be located at, specific trade shows and conferences and convention centers, things like that. And Alvin is literally going to geek out and figure out a way to stock those people as, in any way possible and make sure that they know about your business.
here's another idea. So since we have a pixel, we have identity resolution, and we're able to identify anonymous visitors on your website, and we're able to get the home addresses or the personal addresses. What if I just dropped a pin on the house and serve display ads and CTV ads at the household level? So now I've taken geofence capabilities that was really meant for trade shows and conventions. Well, if we do another variation of like, all right, let's go target the buildings that they work at every single day. And if we're able to get the home address of these people, which is kind of creepy, but we put that as a 330 square foot or even a 1 mile radius, and we just serve CTV ads or even display ads to these people. That's 3 angles right there of
Yeah.
using that type of targeting,
And honestly, if I let Alvin keep going, he's going to come up with another 3 angles and ideas. So we're approaching 30 minutes. We're going to wrap this up now.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the point, guys. Is there, from a B2B leadership role and standpoint, whether you're a CEO, CFO in the marketing department, sales development, there are so many other options outside of social media. I mean, every B2B business I talk to, they're like, oh yeah, we've tried Facebook ads. We've tried Facebook ads. And it's just like, oh yeah, they didn't work, right? Yeah, no crap, because you don't have the data and you don't have the targeting, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
There's alternatives, but everybody gives up. They just assume, well, if we can't do it on Facebook, we can't do it anywhere. And that is 1000% wrong. There are some phenomenal options for B2B marketing, B2B targeting, and taking impressions to reflections and making sure businesses never forget about you. You're not allowed to talk about any more ideas because we can't continue on here, but any other last minute words of wisdom before we sign off? We'll do another episode, mind you. I mean, this is going to be an ongoing, recurring kind of, I started a new playlist. We're going to have, B2B tips and tricks and secrets here on an ongoing basis. But anything before we sign off, buddy?
I mean, if it's something that you're interested in, and you have ad spend or you have marketing budget to test something out, test new things, contact us. I mean,
even if it's not testing things, even if you just feel like your ad spend budget's wasted. I mean, right now, through Data Accelerator, Alvin and I have an insane offer where if you put up the ad spend, we're going to deliver the data. Alvin's going to manage the ads. We're going to put the pixel on your site. We're going to deliver the data. Once we scrape it off the site, we're going to deliver it to your SDRs. We do it all for free. All you have to do is put up the ad spend. So the link is actually, the dataaccelerator.ai link is actually in the description below on the show. So just click on the link, book a time with my team and I, and we'll see if it's a good fit, and we'll see if you can get through me to get to Alvin and let him geek out and grow your business.
Yeah, he's the sub boss. I'm the main boss.
There you go. I just talk about it. Alvin's the one that actually delivers it. All right, perfect. Well, we appreciate everybody sticking around here. Again, don't hesitate to reach out with any questions or concerns. Dataaccelerator.ai, and we can't wait to see you again soon. Have a great day, everyone.
See ya.